this. Well, this teaches you really how to do those. So if there, whatever the table topics would be, you design that toward the class you're teaching. And you can decide if you want to have that as part of your club meeting. Half of it would be the speech craft and half of it would be your Toastmaster meeting. And some people have it totally separate. And now we can have it virtually, so you can invite more than 5 people. And we'll teach you how to invite those later. I've gone through all of those pages at when it says resources and you have 98 pages. I've gone through all of those and I found a whole lot of several flyers that you can use for SpeechCraft specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And your SpeechCraft kit, we're going to go over what all comes in that in just a minute. But it's only $20 for 5 attendees, and you can buy extra parts to go with that. So we're ready to do the next piece.
So Ka had a question on email before about using the paper copies. I think it was about whether or not you could print this out and put it on an electronic file instead. The problem with that is that it's violating copyright laws. So one thing I would do is check with TI and see, you know, if they give you permission, because they don't offer a downloadable version right now. And if you're paying for it, you should be able to do that. But I can't speak on their behalf because that's, you know, that's their revenue. I'm planning on mailing copies out, but you know, check with them and find out what they say about it. Does anybody else have any questions about any of the things on this page? I think most of the people, except for maybe Reed and Janice, have done SpeechCraft before. Valerie, did you do SpeechCraft before? So you guys know how to use the reaction button. How many of you guys have actually done SpeechCraft before? I see 2. Hettie, you count. Oh, we have another person that showed up. Hey, Linnell, how are you?
Hi, fine. How are you?
Let's take a minute and have you introduce yourself because everybody else has already done that. And what club you're with and what made you decide to come to this class today.
Well, I'm Linnell Dean, and I'm with club number 8544, which is Hettie. And we had our meeting today, and I noticed on it that I hadn't done my educational things, so I got on there to do that. And then I saw about this tonight. So I joined a little late, but anyway, I'm here and wanting to learn more about SpeechCraft, etc.
And you have not done one before either, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, excellent. All right, let me move this again and change our slide and see what we got next. Okay, so this is basically what comes in the kit.
Yes, when it says 3 coordinators guide, I just picked up my coordinators guide and it is 40 pages long. And that's an awful lot of copying. If you've got 3 of them to do, that's an awful lot of pages being copied. And it looks like the workbooks are about the same length. So that would be a lot of copying, and their printed material looks very professional, really nice and very professional. And they include, they have 10 instructions for the advisor, and that would be like your coordinator. And they have 5 SpeechCraft workbooks, which look very nice and very clean and very easy to read. Then they have 15 copies of an opportunity to succeed, and that's part of what you could mail out to people and see if in your mail outs, whenever you have something like that, that you're going to be mailing to somebody to try to interest them in this virtual meetings that we're having. And they have 3 copies of membership building tools, and that's for you and your coordinators. Then they have 5 participant certificates when the people that attended your class have graduated and finished. These participant certificates look very, very nice, and you'll want to mail those out. And they also send out some Expanding Your Horizons, which is telling about all the other main courses that they have that you can take. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Now we're ready to talk about your target audience and how you would actually get to them. And you have some special people that you wanted to market to. Would you tell us how you're going to do it for your corporate club?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. Let me open that up real quick. First, I got to stop sharing, and then I'll go find that other PowerPoint. This is the fun part for me. Trying to figure out how to make all this work. Okay. Okay, hang on one second. You're getting a preview. All right. Let me find my other. Okay, can you see the Medtronic slides?
Yes.
Okay. So this one's going to be a little bit different. Some of you that know Wilma will recognize her smiling face. And this is a 5 minutes, basically sales pitch to get our leadership engagement team to agree to let us do this project at Medtronic. So what I'm talking about, and that would normally be a good way to approach it for most corporate clubs, is to start out talking about communication and how important it is in leadership development and in promotability. So those medical people on the call, the IT person on the call, see, but this is, find a chart that you like. There's a zillion of these that talk about the fact that employers want what they want for new hires, and they all have communication way at the top. I specifically picked this chart because when you look at it and all the things that it does, we actually provide training with most of these things. I honestly didn't see anything on here that I haven't learned or gotten better at being a Toastmaster on this list. I mean, negotiating, strategic vision, all that, what visionary communication was my first path. So, and quantitative and qualitative analysis, when you sit down and start calculating some of this stuff, like who's gotten credit for training, all of that, all the reports I've had to learn how to run, all of that is included in what I specifically have learned from Toastmasters. So what I'm doing is explaining in the beginning what our club is like, and the fact that we are set up as an emerging leader program. So that's already something they should be paying attention to. I'm going to mention the fact that every skill that's on this list is something that can be learned through Toastmasters. And with us, the way we work, how many hours we're, we're in our jobs and how busy we are, there's a lot of people that they recognize the fact that they need communication training, but they don't feel like they have time to join a club. So we're proposing Speechcraft as a solution to fill that gap. You don't have time to join the club and be with us all the time, but I bet you could take 4 weeks out of your schedule, an hour and a half over an 8-week period, because we're going to alternate weeks when we do it, or that's what we're proposing anyway, to learn how to be a better speaker. And then you'll recognize this information. It's the same information you've seen on the other PowerPoint and this one too. And then at the end, we're just making our specific pitch, how we want to do it. And this is a little tip for everybody. This is from our member page of our website. One of the best things you can do for your club advertising and promotion is to have each one of your members tell a little bit about themselves in the membership page and what they love or what they got out of Toastmasters. That's free advertising. It's sincere. Testimonials are the best way to build a business. So I highly encourage you to do something like what we have here. But I've included these two people because they will be helping with Speechcraft. So just short to the point, this is what we're proposing. And then at the end, they always want to know, what resources do you have? What resources do you need? So if you're pitching to a corporate club and you would like a copy of this, I'm happy to send it to you as a template.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I'm going to get back to the other slide. And let's go back up to the top. Where were we? We were right here. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Perfect.
First of all, I want you all to go on to the chat and think about the 3 kinds of people that you want in your club. And I listed realtors because I have received information from one of my Toastmaster friends in California. She is her top salesperson in her group. And that she attributes that to her ability to not be afraid to speak and describe the things of the house. So they do virtual house tours. And so this is good for realtors, and I wanted to have her speak to our realtors if that's our target group. And she would start this over by telling what she learned from Toastmasters and how it helped her be the top sales. And I had a group of engineers, maintenance engineers, and they didn't know how to introduce themselves to the people that they were going to their office to work on something. And so they needed to learn how to introduce themselves and possibly a new worker that they're taking around. And we already decided that those people in IT need to be able to talk to people and tell them how to work their
their technical stuff.
Yes, their technical stuff. I'm sorry. And now that we have the Rotary clubs that we can do, and I noticed that they even have some letters that you can write, and they geared it toward Toastmaster and Rotary Club. You could have something for the Rotary Club, a Speechcraft for the Rotary Club, because they need to be able to talk to the community and help with all these programs and sell their ideas that they are doing. Like we have one Rotary Club that sells the programs for our high school. And then any salesperson needs to be able to communicate well.
Right.
But there may be some people that you're thinking of that is in your community that you would like to have a speech craft for. You need to know your target audience. So on the chat, list 3 kinds of targets that you would like to have more information about, or how to teach a speech craft to those. So we'll let you go on chat for just list 3, and we'll see what we have there.
Does everybody know how to find the chat?
No, I don't. I'm very lax in the technical stuff we were talking about.
So if you scroll over to the far right side
Yeah,
of your, yeah, you'll see more. And if you click on that, the top thing will be chat. Looks like Janice is listing stuff already. Leadership teams.
So I go on the little thing.
Team members,
okay,
teachers. Managers.
Mm-hmm.
Managers, leads, and team members.
Okay.
That's Seba.
Yes. And then to chat, I just start typing in, or?
Yep. Medical people who need to get more comfortable with online presentations, and that's all they're doing right now with COVID. Mm-hmm. Civic leaders, professors, technical trainers, HRM directors, that's Reed. We have a club that started this past year, a few months ago, here in San Antonio, Gonzaga Medical Group. It's the most profitable medical group in San Antonio. Dr. Gonzaga is 96, I think, but he sent a couple of his doctors to the San Antonio River Authority Club and was so impressed with their improvement that he said, we need our own club. So they chartered with 30 members, I think.
Ooh, that's great.
Testimonials are the best way. Now, some of the resources we have available for you, last year, Ryan O'Connor gave us a list of associations, and we've been filling in who the contact people are with that group. So if you're looking to find more members, we have several associations that you can reach out to, and of course Rotary. So DPS employees, this is Ka, online savvy folks who would enjoy current meetings. Yeah, our first club of the year is going to be a club called, oh shoot, what is their name? I can't think of it right now. Dang.
That's a catchy title. Oh shoot, what's their name?
Yeah, it's a really nice, I can't think of it. Darn, I'm drawing a blank. But they're basically salespeople. They're all salespeople. They're all people that are used to networking. Buzz, it's called Buzz. I knew I would remember eventually. And so anybody who wants to be a better leader, Erica Lockwood was talking about starting a leadership club, since we could do it online and have people from all over. So those are all good answers. You ready to go to the next one?
Well, I would like to suggest that they can go under the resources, and I saw 2 letters that help you to know what to say in your marketing letter, and you would send this out, or you could email it if you can get those emails, names and email addresses. But you would attach some of the advertising items that are in the kit that they send you. And you would say in your letter that you will follow up with a phone call, and be sure and do that within 2 weeks. And that helps you, that lets them know that you do care and that you will call back. And you can even advertise online that you're offering this program and include the advantage that it would be, and The larger cities can have a nextdoor.com, and that can tell you a lot about the organizations and the people that you can market to that may have wanted to know something. So that gets you started right there. Now, Junction, Texas is too small for Nextdoor. Now,
What?
everybody's on that, but that's true. We just aren't big enough yet. Okay, we're ready for the next slide.
Well, okay.
There it is. So before you get started, you need to determine the purpose of your speech craft and your target audience so that you won't just be asking the whole world. And you're going to be figuring out what training you're going to be giving. If you're not doing all 8 of the topics, then you want to pick the topics that you want to help people with and determine whether it's 4, 6, or 8 meetings.
And they have that in the back, Hettie, where if you choose 4, like we're doing 4 meetings, they have a sample agenda for 4 meetings.
Isn't that wonderful? They have prepared it all for you, helping you make your mind up. And you might want to do it for membership building. You might want to do it if you want to start a new club. And if you just want to train people so that they will come into your club. So you have those choices. And read your coordinator's guide when you get your workbooks in and decide on the length and the number of sessions that you want to have. And who will coordinate your whole event. And who will help you. And this is an opportune time for each one of your members to present one of those topics that comes from your,
From the guide. And so the person that's running the whole thing, the coordinator, they're the only one that can get DTM credit. However, the people that are helpers can choose a pathways project to get credit for. There's lots of different projects to choose from.
Exactly. So it helps you, they get credit and you get credit. So read the coordinator's guide and decide on the length and number of your sessions and figure out who will be the coordinator of the event and who will help present. And then you go on to your needs and go through resources, and you will find some advertisements, and they already have flyers made for you. And that helps out a whole lot in when you're trying to do these things. And then you decide how, and then to begin to market your program to your selected target group. And when you're through with the whole thing, look and see how many people joined. And remember, one man had 5 attendees and 5 joined his club. Right. So that is really great. And most of the time, these people do join. That's what's so nice about it. It's better than an open house, but an open house helps. But this is longer and involves the people that are attending much more than an open house. And they are not afraid of Toastmasters anymore.
Right.
When you're deciding how much to charge your attendees, figure out how much it's going to cost to mail your books to them. And you're going to charge somewhere around $20. That's what the normal thing is. You don't want to charge too much and you don't want to charge not enough. It's not a value if you just charge $5, but if you have a set amount, you can apply, or they can apply that $20 to their new membership if they decide to join Toastmasters. And that's a pretty nice deal. They paid for it, they've already got the value, but they can forward that money to their membership.
Yep.
And that's another nice thing that you can advertise. And you usually do this at the next to the last meeting, because the last meeting they can graduate from your course and join the same time. Now let's go to our next slide.
And one of the things you can do as well, Pebby, if you don't want to mail the books out, if you have a place where people can come and pick up the manuals, that works
Well,
too.
that's good.
It just depends on how spread out your group is.
That's true, and they can be, you can have your whole speech craft on the Zoom too. That's
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So this is an example of some of the ads I pulled from another district, and I would tell you if I could which one it was, but I can't. It seems like it was District 9, but I can't swear to it. So they have some wonderful flyers. This was just 2 of them. They have several more, but I wanted you to be able to see different flyers based on different target groups. So can anybody tell me who they think the targets are for these 2 different flyers? And you can unmute yourself if you want. Somebody got an idea?
Well, the one on the right is clearly looking for people that are looking for change in their career, whether they lost their job or want to change.
Yeah.
The one on the left to me looks like it could really be to anybody, because anybody can feel like they're talking to a brick wall.
Uh-huh. And did you notice it was being put on by 2 different Toastmasters groups? And that, anybody got an idea? Reed, you're very analytical. Do you have an idea why you might do that as a join forces with another Toastmasters group?
If you have a Toastmasters group that's brand new and they haven't gone through a speech craft, they can participate, gain confidence, and your experienced groups sometimes lose members, so they're conducting or presenting it not so much for credit, but for club growth.
Yep.
Also, if you have 5 people from different jobs, occupations, construction, trades, unemployed, varieties of the city or metro area, especially for Austin, San Antonio, they may not be convenient to go to just one, but maybe the other. So it's 2 opportunities to bring the members in.
Are you sure you haven't done this before, Reed?
I joined in '96.
No, I'm talking about a speech craft.
No, and I haven't attended one either.
Nice. So we've whetted your appetite, right?
I've been an area governor, a division governor, an area director, and a lot of different club things. But no, I have not done youth nor a speech craft, and I'm looking forward to those opportunities.
Excellent.
Jason Yadlovsky. Jason Yadlovsky.
Hettie, did you have anything else you want to add about this?
Hold on.
She's going after her dancing lesson.
I forgot to turn off my cell phone. No, I have nothing else to add to this, but it sounds like it would be fun in a larger city where you could, 2 clubs could go together to have a speech craft. You could have more people attend too.
Well, guess what? Since we're doing them online, you can have somebody help you from Germany if you want to.
Well, yes, and I think one of the clubs I've been attending has a visitor from Germany quite often, and one person wanted to join from another country. I think it's more fun than anything.
Yep. Arthur Storer Club. Isn't somebody here from Arthur Storer?
Yes.
So I know that because Stan told me that Arthur Storer is visiting a different country every month.
That was the challenge.
Yep.
That was something that Lark was doing anyway. So she promised to give us some schedules to where we could attend. We've also had visitors coming into our club on Saturday from 5 different countries.
Yeah.
and several districts outside of our region. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like we're on the spotlight.
We've had several people from outside our region at our TLIs. We've actually made arrangements for them to get credit. So as long
I saw
as
that on a Facebook group where somebody was asking, are there any events? I was going to suggest Saturday, but I figured I'd leave it up to the district folks to
yeah, no,
coordinate that.
as it just has to be coordinated between me and the PQD from the other district, because I have to send a notice that says, yes, this person has completed their training, and they have to submit it to their PQD for them to get credit. Cool. So let's talk some more about target audiences. Who has somebody they want to talk about, an idea that they want to get feedback on, or anything about Speech Craft?
Have you already set up something for Tesla workers? Or for the Amazon in Pflugerville? Or for...
Go for it, Reed.
That's in the newspapers, so that's where they're hiring and building up workforce, not just with construction, but bringing people on. That would be if they're doing it in Nevada already or in other locations.
And people going to Austin to look for houses that are employed by these companies are running into 15 and 20 offers ahead of them, and 25,000 and more over asking price.
Yep.
And still not getting the house.
Yep.
So that's where networking comes into play, and they could do that in a Toastmasters club.
Yep.
Maybe they could find a house.
They might.
I like mine.
It's on the market. I do know of one of our Toastmasters who is trying to sell his house in Washington State so it could come back to Kerrville. So maybe they could get a house that way before it goes on the market through Toastmasters. But I'm not suggesting that particular type of club. But we could invite realtors who have to speak to their clients about a new property that they're looking for. And some of them really do need to increase their abilities to talk without saying ums and ahs.
We have
And
lots of attorneys in the district, and
Yes.
one world champion that came from this district.
In fact, there's a lot of world champions that came from this. I looked it up and there's 6.
But one that was an attorney.
Oh, okay. But I thought that was more than any other district. So we grew a public world champion speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a problem that nonprofits have, and that person is having a difficulty explaining their program and trying to get money. They're always trying to get money for their nonprofit. And we had a group that came together, and they were trying to get money from a certain group of people. And this is going to, okay, that'll be fine. But they needed to learn how to present their case so that they could get money. So that's good for nonprofit. This is good for nonprofits. And a lot of people would like to get promoted at work. And I know one person that was in Toastmasters, and she came on board at her company. She spoke Vietnamese very clearly, but not everybody speaks Vietnamese in California. So her boss, her leader of the company, told her to join Toastmasters. 5 years later, she became the director of her department, because she now knew how to talk to people and write agendas and carry on meetings. And I was real proud of her. She also improved her speech patterns.
Yep.
Government workers certainly want to advance in their, whenever there's an opportunity to get promoted. So that's how you would do it. Now you're going to tell us how to conduct an online speech craft. You want to tell them on
So
that?
somebody tell me, what do you think would be different about doing it online? We've kind of mentioned some of it in the beginning. You're going to have to mail your documents, but you can set up your materials on a PowerPoint, because you're still going to want to have something that you present. And I haven't really researched it enough yet to see if there's already some Speechcraft PowerPoints out there, but that's really not complicated to do. The main thing is going to be the same kind of stuff that you have to do with a regular meeting, is make sure you set up the rules of etiquette ahead of time, you know, raising your hand, muting yourself when you're not speaking. I personally think for a speech craft that you want people to have their cameras on. And in fact, if somebody's going to attend a speech craft to learn, they really need to be able to have a camera so that they can be evaluated on their body language and their expressions, that kind of thing. So it's important to talk to people ahead of time about what kind of resources they have to do it if you're going to be doing it online. And I don't see any reason why you can't do a speech craft online. Does anybody have any specific concerns or questions about doing these online? Are all of you, go ahead.
Kathy, it starts becoming a lecture in less collaboration. So in person, you could have 2 or 3 people discussing almost a topic you bring up, or looking at the person and hearing them in person, seeing other body language, hearing tones, whereas you only hear one person at a time. It's sequential, not group. That's the only part I see, is it's so much more beneficial in a group environment that you can allow them to discuss, comment, even among themselves, where it's more difficult because in Zoom, when one person talks, that's it. If someone else talks, it cuts off the other person. In person, you get to hear both. You can distinguish multiple people talking at a time. So you're right about setting up the sequence of events, the protocol, the guidelines, so that one person speaks at a time. It just belabors it a little bit to me. And that's just using the platform.
I guess I'm confused. Why would more than one person be talking during a speech craft anyway, whether it was live or online?
If you ask for any feedback about our level of understanding about a topic, or to give examples about a situation or a priority, you're going to either get it on chat, where you get everybody's input, or if you're asking for verbal responses like normal, you can only do it one at a time.
But you should only be doing it one at a time. You shouldn't be interrupting each other. That's what I'm getting at. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
When I'm teaching, most of the time, I use verbal response rather than chat, but I'm like the old-fashioned school teacher. I'll usually call on people. There's lots of people, especially if it's a big group, you're going to have your people like you that are comfortable responding and answering questions. But then, you know, halfway through the presentation, if I see, let's say, Linda hasn't really said anything, I'll say, well, what do you think, Linda? So, you know, that's really the point of the the coordinator to make sure that everybody participates. But when Hettie mentioned reading the coordinator's guide, if you haven't done one before, it gives you a much better idea of how it's going to work, because you have one experienced person giving a presentation, let's say, on getting to the point, and then you might have table topics, you have an evaluation, and then you have mentors working individually with the participants to help them, and then they do their icebreakers or their get to the point speech. So it's pretty much set up like a club meeting. It's just that it's a mix of experienced people and brand new people, which a lot of clubs are like that anyway. It's not really an open discussion. I mean, have you ever had any like that, Hettie?
No, we run it just like you do a Toastmaster meeting.
It's just that the speeches are a little bit shorter, right?
Well, sometimes, but mostly you're going to, if you have a longer meeting, you have enough time for several more people than one or two. So you will have maybe 3 or 4 speakers. But the ones we had at the college, we had 5 speakers and 5 evaluations. And the attendees actually learned how to give evaluations, and they did very well. After someone showed them a little about what to do for an evaluation, they did very well.
Is that your area making noise? Were you moving something around? There was a lot of background noise just now. It's gone.
I don't know.
Okay.
I had my door shut.
Okay. And in your experience, have you ever done a speech craft that was only an hour long?
Yes, we did. But
And was
we
it
only had
5 people?
attendees. Yeah, we had 3 attendees and we did it for an hour.
Okay.
Once a week, and it wasn't at the same time we had our meeting. But I have attended some clubs that had it the first 30 minutes of the meeting, and then we had the regular meeting after 30 minutes shorter. But everybody had an opportunity to speak and do things. We just didn't have 3 speakers at the regular meeting and 3 at the speech craft. We just had 3 at the speech craft and 1 at our regular meeting.
Okay.
And they had it together, but a lot of times they had it separately.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions about the particulars here?
Well, who's ready to give one now? I'll be ready to talk with you if you need any help. I'll be happy to talk with you one-on-one, and we can do it by Zoom.
So these are some of the social media places that you can advertise. I think everybody's comfortable with LinkedIn and Facebook. And then this other one is a group that I set up on nextdoor.com, and that's here in San Antonio. But you can set up your own, you can set up a Nextdoor just for your own club if you want. But that's an easy way to advertise. Does everybody have a club Facebook account?
Yes, Kathy.
What was that, Siba?
Yes, this is Siva. We have a Facebook account for our club, and even we are promoting our next week's 10th anniversary event in Facebook and meetup.com.
Okay. I just noticed the time too. It looks like we're over. So I want to share this last resource page. This is an online flyer that's available in the resource library on toastmasters.org. So if you go to the resource library and you just click the search button, Speechcraft, you'll be able to get this, and it's saying type in Speechcraft flyer. So, and if anybody needs a copy of this deck, I'm happy to send it to you. But this is the places where you can get information, and that the one that it was District 9, TMD 9, where those nice flyers came from. And then there's also some at District 6. But if you Google it, you'll get some more ideas. Anybody else got any last minute questions? Because we're pretty much out of time. And feel free to email me if you'd like a copy of any of this. We're happy to send it to you.
Well, it seems like people are thanking us for holding this meeting, and I certainly thank all of our attendees. They made it good.
Yes,
They
they
made
did.
it exciting.
Thanks everybody for coming, and let us know how your speech craft goes.